Having a baseball card shop, you can say I like sports. And most people love the underdog in sports. Two of my favorites. The first is Rulon Gardner. He was an Olympic wrestler. And in the 2000, he was going for the gold medal. He was going up against this guy named Garland, who was known as the Russian Bear. Garland had not lost a match in 13 years. He was like 763-0. And the 10 years before this match, he had not even given up a single point in a match. When people went up against him, they feared, they were nervous. They knew they were going to lose. But Rulon didn't let that bother him. From Wyoming, a farm boy from Wyoming, he just went in there and he gave it his all. Not afraid, just went in there. And lo and behold, he defeated him 1-0. Garland immediately retired after that match. My other favorite is from my all-time favorite movie, Rudy. I love this movie. And Rudy is an Illinois boy from a strong Catholic family. His father and his family absolutely love Notre Dame football. They watch it on the TV set every game. Now Rudy, much like David, he's the youngest of his brothers. And Rudy tells his brothers and his dad every week they watch the game, he's like, one day I'm going to play for Notre Dame football. Now Rudy, as they quote in the movie, is basically a 5'0", 150-pound soaking wet nothing. He is just a small, tiny boy, has no business playing football. And people told him that his whole life. And so after high school, he goes to look for his dad at the factory. His best friend gets killed in an accident at the factory. And he decides, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make an attempt at my goal. Everyone says I can't do it, but I'm going to try. And he sets out, and he applies to Notre Dame, and he doesn't get in. He goes to the church, he prays, befriends the father at the church, who encourages him to go to a junior school and try to be transferred. So he goes to Holy Cross, and he has difficulties. And he figures out during school, this whole time he's had trouble with school, he has dyslexia. And so he learns to combat this to be able to learn and to be able to continue. So semester after semester, Rudy applies for transfer, and he doesn't get in. On his last chance, he's accepted to Notre Dame. So obviously he tries out for the football team. Easily gets pushed around, but he doesn't stop. He gets knocked down, he gets right back up, goes right back at it. He ends up making the team. One coach really loved him, the rest of the coaches weren't so favorable. But the one coach really saw something in Rudy. So he made the team. And Rudy, for 2 years, did not miss a single practice, despite being beat on. And just basically, they told him at the beginning of your job was, we're going to beat on you, and we're going to hit you, and we're going to pound you, and if you get hurt, we don't care. You're the practice squad. It don't matter. But Rudy kept his dream, because I'm going to dress one Sunday, or on Saturday. One Saturday, I'm going to dress. And he did. He dressed. And he makes and then play against Georgia Tech, he makes the last sack of the game. You have to play you can't only dress, but you actually have to play a play in the game to be considered a member of the team. So he gets in, and he makes the last sack of the game. And he's carried off the field, triumphant. And so Rudy's like David. David was the youngest of his brothers. Rudy was the youngest of his. If you were to pick a football team, Rudy would be the last guy you would pick. David, we learned several weeks ago, when he was anointed, his father didn't even bring him to Samuel. His father left him in the field to tend to the sheep. And he had to go get him. Even his father wouldn't pick, all of his sons. He didn't pick David. He didn't think David would have made to be a king. So it's unlikely. It's an unlikely story. And then they face the Israelite army, they face the Philistine army. The Philistine army was like the biggest, baddest army there was. They were huge, they were well trained, and they were pests. They kept coming after you time and time again. And not only this time, but in Israelites' history, the Philistines pestered the Israelites nonstop. They just kept coming at them and coming at them. And this time, who they bring with them? They bring the giant Goliath. Like I said in the children's time, Goliath was 11 feet tall. His armor weighed 2,500 shekels. It's crazy heavy. And so, this is like 250 pounds. It was like someone carrying me on their back in battle. Not an easy task. But then comes a little shepherd boy to the rescue. David to the rescue. And he gets there, and here's the challenge. Goliath for 40 days had come out and was like, hey, send your best guy, let's go. I got this. Piece of cake. And everybody cowered every time. Nobody wanted to do it. 40 days, day and night. So 80 times Goliath came and challenged them, and no one accepted the challenge. David was like, I can do it. I'll go. And Saul was like, you sure? Yeah, David's like, I can do it. God's with me, I got it. So he tries to give him his armor. He doesn't have any armor. It doesn't work for him. So he goes with no armor. And what does he take with him? 5 smooth stones. So you got one guy that's 5 feet nothing versus an 11 feet guy with tons of armor, a big javelin, a big sword, and more years of fighting experience than David had even lived. Who would you bet on? Most people probably vote with Goliath. If you didn't know the outcome of the story, we would take Goliath. But David, confident, he stands there even when Goliath is charging at him full speed, because Goliath's had enough at this point. For 40 days he's been challenging him. So he comes flying at him. And David stays right there, reaches into his pouch, rocking the slingshot, right in the forehead. He drops him and he wins. The underdog. And this is kind of set. This is what's the problem with the setting. The setting sets us up. So often in our lives, we don't want to be the underdog. We want to be Goliath. And it's easy when you're Goliath. Right? You defeat things easily and you go through life and everything's easy. We're Goliath. But we're David's. And we have a ton of Goliaths in our lives. Lots and lots of life. Lots of things we're afraid of. Maybe snakes and spiders. Maybe some other big things. Death. Fear of disappointment. And so often, against the odds, we think they're against us, that we end up, we quit on ourselves, we quit on God. We don't stand there fast like David. We kind of like the rest of the Israelite army. We're like, nope, that is impossible. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Absolutely no way. But if you forget, we have a powerful weapon on our side. We have a powerful weapon with us. And God, He's always with us. He's right there to help us through. And sometimes we're afraid because sometimes God's answer, a time frame, sometimes it's 40 days. He doesn't always answer that Goliath of a problem you have. Sometimes it's 40 days, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's longer. Sometimes, not only do we not have to, we're impatient, but sometimes we think we have the answer. No, I got this one, God. I know what to do. Sometimes we think we know what's better for ourselves than God. Sometimes we don't take the time to let God work in our lives. And I think that's for several reasons. Sometimes I think we place God, we get so wanting to do things on our own and forget that God is with us, that we don't use Him. So we forget to pray daily. We forget to spend time in Scripture. We forget to spend time with Him. Because it's really hard, if you're honest, it's really hard to trust somebody if you don't know Him that well. If you don't take the time and spend time with Him. And so an encouragement, I encourage you today to be like Rudy, to face those obstacles in your life. To be like David, to face the giants in your life, and not to forget that God is with you, to trust His plan for you. Because God works against the odds. He loves that. There's a number of times that He battles the odds. Gideon's another great story where the odds are greatly against him and they're victorious. You too can be victorious. You just trust in God. Trust in Him to help you along. Pray. That's what Rudy did. That's what David did. They prayed. They were in constant communication with God. They trusted His plan. And so should we. Amen.